Many a day we rode together on that quiet stream, the three little maidens, Duckworth and I, and many a fairy tale were told for their benefit. Yet none of these many tales ever got written down. They lived and died like summer midges, each in their golden afternoon, until one of my listeners begged that the tale be written down for her. Many a year have slipped away since that golden afternoon, but I can call upon it almost as clearly as if it was yesterday. The cloudless blue above, the watery mirror below, the boat drifting idly on its way, the tinkle of the drops that fell from the oars as they swayed steadily to and fro, and the three eager faces, hungry for news of fairyland. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting on the bank with nothing to do. Once or twice she peeked into her sister's book to see what she was reading.
What's the use of a book without pictures or conversation?
She was considering whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the effort of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink ears ran close by her.
I'm late, I haven't got a moment to waste, I have worries, what am I to do? I'm late, I'm getting in a terrible state, I'll have to hurry, better get a move on. I'm late, it's just a minute to wait, she'll have my head off, better get a move on. I'm late, I haven't got a moment to waste, I'm getting worried, what am I to do? I'm late.
Burning with curiosity, Alice ran across the field after it. She was just in time to see the white rabbit jump down the rabbit hole. Alice went down after it, never once considering how in the world she would get out again. That rabbit hole went straight down, then dipped suddenly. Alice found herself falling down a very deep well. Down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves, and the fall was over. Alice jumped to her feet in a moment, and it was dark overhead. In front of her was another long passage, and the white rabbit was still in sight, hurrying along it.
Oh, my ears and whiskers! How late is it getting?
What an unusual hallway. I do believe I'm in the rabbit's house. Oh, he's left a key. I wonder if it opens one of these doors.
Alas, either the locks were too big or the key was too small. At any rate, it wouldn't open any of them. Suddenly, Alice came upon a low-hanging curtain. Behind it was a little door, about 15 inches high. She knelt down and opened the door and looked along the passage.
The loveliest garden you ever saw. Confound lovely garden. It's the place I'd really like to be, safe inside my lovely garden, with the sunlight streaming down on me. Fountains blue and grass so green, I can hear birds singing in the trees. I must find my lovely garden. It's the place I visit in my dreams. Oh, I wish I could get into that lovely garden and wander among those beds of bright flowers and cool fountains. But I can't even get my head through the doorway, and even if my head could get through, it would be of very little use without my shoulders. Oh, if only I could find a way. Fountains blue and grass so green, I can hear birds singing in the trees. I must find my lovely garden. It's the place I visit in my dreams. It's the place that I visit in my dreams. I wish I could shut up like a telescope. Perhaps I might find a book of rules that could show me how. This little bottle wasn't here a minute ago. Drink me. I shall check first to see whether or not it's marked poison. Anything marked poison is sure to disagree with you sooner or later if you drink too much of it. This looks okay, though. Very nice. A mixed sort of flavor. Cherry tart, custard, roast turkey, toffee, and buttered toast. Delicious. Oh, what a curious feeling. I think I'm getting smaller.
And so it was indeed. She was now only 10 inches high. Alice felt a little nervous about shrinking any further, but after a while, finding nothing more had happened, she decided to go to the garden at once. But alas for poor Alice, when she got there, she realized she had forgotten the key, and when she went back to the table to go get it, she couldn't possibly reach it. Try as she might, it was no use. Alice sat down and cried.
Stop crying this instant. It's not doing anything.
Suddenly, she saw a small cake beside her. The words, "Eat me," were written on it in currants.
Well, I shall eat it. If it makes me go larger, I can reach the key. And if it makes me go smaller, I can crawl under the door. Which way? Which way? Oh, now I'm opening up like the tallest telescope that ever was.
Alice was more than 9 feet high. She took the little golden key at once and hurried to the door. Lying down on one side, it was all she could do to look through the doorway. Getting through was even more hopeless than ever. Alice sat down and began to cry again.
There's no... A great girl like you, to go on crying like this. You should be ashamed of yourself. I advise you to leave off this minute.
But she went on all the same, shedding gallons of tears, until there was a small pool of tears around her. Suddenly, she noticed the pattering of feet in the distance.
The Duchess, won't she be savage if I keep her waiting? I'm late. It's just a minute to wait, she'll have my hand off. Better get a move on. I'm late. If I cannot keep a crucial date, there'll be no let off. What am I to do? I'm late.
If you please, sir.
I can't stop now. I'll be late.
Dear, dear, how queer everything is today. Goodness, I'm shrinking again. It must be the fan. I never was so small as this before. Never!
As she said these words, her foot slipped, and another moment splash. She was up to her chin in water. At first, she thought she'd somehow fall into the sea, but then she remembered how small she was, and soon realized that she was in a pool of her own tears, which she wept when she was 9 feet high.
I'm sinking and sighing for all my silly crying. I'm coming, then I'm going.
then, she heard something splashing about in the pool. She swam nearer to make out what it was. At first, she thought it was a hippopotamus or a walrus, but then she remembered how small she was, and soon realized there was only a mouse who had slipped in like herself.
Mouse. Oh, Mouse. Do you know the way out of here? I'm very tired of swimming about like this. Mouse! Perhaps it doesn't understand English. Perhaps it's a French mouse. I don't know much French. Let me see. Oh, yes, Machette? Oh, I'm sorry. I quite forgot you didn't like cats.
Not like cats? Would you like cats if you were me?
Well, perhaps not.
Nasty, low, vulgar things. Don't let me hear any more about them again.
Do you like dogs? There's such a sweet little thing near where I live I should like to show you.
Cats, dogs, nice little things.
Oh dear, I've offended it again. Mouse dear, please do come back. We won't talk about cats or dogs if you don't like them.
Fine. Let's swim to shore and I'll tell you my history. Then you'll understand why it is that I hate cats and dogs.
It was high time for them to go. The pool was getting quite crowded with all the curious creatures that had fallen in. There was a duck, and a dodo, and a lory, and several other weird animals. Alice led the way, and the whole party swam to shore. What a queer-looking party they were. Assembled on the bank, the first question, of course, was how to get dry.
Sit down, all of you, and listen to me. Silence, if you please.
Must we listen to his story again?
I'll sooner make you dry. This is the driest thing I know. William the Conqueror, whose cause was favoured by the Pope, was soon... I'll proceed. The patriotic Archbishop of Canterbury found it advisable...
Found what?
Found it. Of course. You know what it means. He found it advisable to meet William and to offer him the crown. How are you getting on now, my dear?
Not very well at all. I'm wet as ever.
In that case, I think that the meeting should adjourn for the immediate adoption of more energetic remedies. Speak English. I don't know the meaning of half those words, and what's more, I don't believe you do either. What I was going to say is the best thing to get us dry would be a caucus race.
What's a caucus race?
Why, the best way to explain it is to do it. Here is the race course. The exact shape doesn't matter. Stand where you like. Begin to run when you like, and leave off when you like. In the caucus race you choose your starting place, then begin exactly where you like. In the caucus race you run at your own pace, you'll be guaranteed to win a prize. If your burnt feathers are a sorry sight, if you're feeling cold and wet, come and join the race and you will get dry. There's no need to be upset. In the caucus race you choose a starting place, then begin exactly where you like. In the caucus race you run at your own pace, you'll be guaranteed to win a prize. It won't really matter how you play the game, make up any rules you like. If you get it wrong, well that's okay, don't think anyone will mind. In the caucus race you choose a starting place, then begin exactly where you like. In the caucus race you run at your own pace, you'll be guaranteed to win a prize. The race is over. But who has won? Why, everyone has won, and we all must have prizes.
But who is to give the prizes?
Why, she, of course.
Prizes! 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 Stop! She must have a prize herself, you know.
Good point. What else have you got in your pocket?
Only a thimble.
we beg your acceptance of this elegant thimble.
You promised to tell me your history, and why it is you hate C and D.
Mine is a long, sad tale.
Fury said to the mouse that he met in the house, "Let us both go to law, I will prosecute you. I will prosecute you. Come, I'll take no denial, for we must have a trial. For really this morning I've got nothing to do. I've got nothing to do," said the mouse to the cat. "Such a trial desire, with no jury or judge, would be wasting our breath. Would be wasting our breath. I'll be judge, I'll be jury," said cunning old Fury. "I will try the whole case and condemn you to death. And condemn you to death. And condemn you to death." You are not attending. I'm sorry, I thought you had finished. I had not. A knot? Oh, do let me help you undo it.
I should do nothing of the sort. You insult me by talking such nonsense.
Oh dear, I've offended again. Mouse dear, please do come back. Yes, please come back.
What a pity it wouldn't stay.
I wish I had her Dina here. She'd soon fetch it back.
And who is Dina, if I might venture to ask the question?
Dina's our cat. A capital one at catching mice, and oh, you should see her after the birds.
Oh my, is that the time? I actually think we should be off. Anyway, cheerio. It was lovely meeting you. Bye-bye.
I wish I hadn't mentioned Dina. My dear Dina, I wonder if I shall ever see you again.
The Duchess, oh my dear paws, oh my fur and whiskers. She'll get me executed for sure. Our ferrets are ferrets. Where could I have dropped them? I wonder. Marianne, what are you doing here? Run behind now and fetch me a pair of fan and gloves. Quick, now!
He took me here for his housemaid. How surprised he'll be when he finds out who I am. Better fetch him his fan and gloves, though. That is, if I can find them.
As she said this, Alice came upon a neat little house, on the door in which, with bright blue plate, was the name W. Rabbit engraved upon it. She hurried inside without knocking, and found her way into a tiny room. Inside on the table was a fan and 2 or 3 pairs of tiny white kid gloves, and another bottle.
I found another bottle. It's given me a thought. I'm sure that something strange will happen if I remove the cord. I'm tired of feeling little. I'm sick of Is this a magical spell on altar? Things keep happening that hardly seem true.
Alice had grown so large that she was fast stuck inside the rabbit's house. Luckily for Alice, the little magic bottle had its full effect and she grew no larger.
I much preferred things at home when one wasn't always growing and shrinking. I wonder what will happen to me now. And I wonder what will happen next.
Well, might she have wondered, for Alice herself could hardly believe what happened next. First, the rabbit came home to grab his gloves and fan, and found he couldn't get in. Bill the lizard was sent down to tackle the giant inside, but Alice with one fell kick sent the lizard back up the chimney like a skyrocket. Then the rabbit started throwing little pebbles at Alice, which she found with some delight were turning into cakes. Naturally, she tried one, and she began shrinking directly. When she was small enough, she ran out the house and into a giant thick wood.
The first thing I ought to do is grow back to my right size. And the second thing, find my way into that lovely garden. I think that will be the best plan.
It sounded an excellent plan. The only difficulty was, Alice hadn't the smallest idea how to set about it. Suddenly, she came upon an open place with a little house, about 4 inches high. For a minute or two, she stood looking at the house, wondering what to do next, when a footman in a livery came running out of the wood and went to the front door.
Invited the Duchess to play along with the others in a game of croquet. The Duchess of Gladly received from the Queen an invite to join her the games on the green. There's no point in knocking, you'll never get in. Besides, they're all making a terrible din. I will be here till tomorrow for sure. Day after day, I shall sit by the door. I shall sit by the door.
But then excuse me before you begin. Please can you tell me just how I get in?
How do you know if you didn't know?
There's no use in talking to them, they're all fools.
The noise in the kitchen was fearfully loud. The smoke from the cooking was thick as a cloud. The cook in the corner was using a scoop to stir up the pepper she put in the soup. He put in the soup. Start bringing from ear to ear. The reason they did so was not very clear. The Duchess was nursing the baby at sneeze, howling and screaming inside on her knees, inside on her knees, inside on her knees. While my baby sat on the stool, washed the saucepans, dishes, and all. Being and shaking, fell them around. Bill went to sleep when he hits the ground.
There's certainly too much pepper in that soup. Please, would you tell me why your cat grins like that?
It's a Cheshire cat, and that's why. Pig.
I don't know any cats that can grin.
They all can, and most of them do.
I don't know any that do.
You don't know much, and that's a fact.
Oh, please mind what you're doing. There goes his precious nose.
If everybody minded their own business, the world would go on a great deal faster than it does.
Which, you see, would not be an advantage. The world takes 24 hours to spin on its axis.
Talking of axes, chop off her head.
24 hours, I think. Or is it 12?
Don't abide me, I can't abide figures like that. Here, you may nurse it for a bit if you like.
Alice carried the baby outside, where it started to grunt. She told it that if it was going to turn into a pig, she'd have nothing more to do with it. It grunted again, so violently that Alice just set the little creature down and was quite happy to see it slowly trot away.
If it had grown up, it would have made a dreadfully ugly child. But it makes a rather handsome pig, I think.
As Alice turned around, she was startled to see the Cheshire Cat.
Cheshire Puss, you startled me. Can you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?
Well, it depends a good deal on which way you want to get to.
I don't care much.
Then it doesn't matter which way you go.
What sort of people live about here?
Well, in that direction is a hatter, and in that direction is a March Hare. Go whichever way you like. They're both mad.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad. You're mad.
How do you know I'm mad?
Well, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't mad. Do you play croquet with the Queen later?
No, I should like to, but I haven't been invited yet.
I'll be there. By the by, what did happen to the baby?
It turned into a pig.
I thought it would.
With that, the Cheshire Cat slowly vanished, starting from the tail and ending with the grin, which stayed for quite some time afterwards.
Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin, but a grin without a cat is the strangest thing I've ever seen. Like rabbits with strange habits that run round in mad panic, never having time to turn around. Long hallways with small doorways are there sometimes and not always. Curious indeed the things I found. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland. Loud sneezings and brain teasings, where words take on new meanings. Everyone, it seems, must disagree. Rude manners and bad grammar, problem in a mad pattern. It's the strangest place I've ever been. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland.
After watching the Cheshire Cat slowly vanish, Alice set off again. She had not gone far until she came across the house of the March Hare. She thought it must have been, for the roof was thatched with fur, and the chimney was in the shape of ears. Outside, under a tree, stood the table, where the Mad Hatter and the March Hare were having a tea party. A Dormouse was sat quietly asleep.
No room, no room.
Nonsense. There's plenty of room.
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
That isn't any.
Then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
I didn't know it was your table.
Your hair wants cutting.
You should learn not to make personal remarks. It's very rude.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
I believe I can guess that.
Do you mean you think that you can find the answer to it?
Exactly so.
Then you should say what you mean.
I do. At least, I mean what I say. That's the same thing, you know.
Not the same thing a bit. You might just as well say that I eat what I see is the same as I see what I eat.
You might just as well say, I like what I get, it's the same as I get what I like.
You might just as well say, I breathe when I sleep is the same as I sleep when I breathe.
It is the same thing with you. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong. I told you butter would not suit the works.
It was the best butter.
Yes, but some breadcrumbs must have got in. I told you not to leave the knife in.
It was the best butter, you know.
What a funny watch. It tells you what day of the month it is, but not the time.
Why should it? Does yours tell you what year it is?
No, but that's because it stays the same year for such a long time together.
Which is just the case with mine.
I don't quite understand you.
The Dormouse is asleep again.
Of course, just as I was going to remark myself as.
Have you guessed the riddle yet?
No, I give up. What's the answer?
I haven't the slightest idea. To explain thoughts that go round in my head.
No rhyme or reason.
Dormouse, you're asleep again.
Not twinkle, twinkle.
You'd better go back to.
Mad as a hatter, she's never felt better. It's hard to believe that she's out of her mind. Mad as a hatter,
Me the butter.
like this tea party all the time.
Ravens are rather like death.
Riddle, a riddle.
Tell me if you think it's true.
Tell him, do tell him.
You won't be able to guess.
He'll have to tell you.
I've really not got
Mad as a hatter, she's never felt better. It's hard to believe that she's out of her mind. Mad as a hatter,
So pass me the butter.
life is a tea party all of the time.
It was the middle of March.
The middle.
I had a quarrel with time.
Yes, we remember.
Now he does nothing I ask.
He never listens.
He was a good friend of.
Mad as a hatter, she's never felt better. It's hard to believe that she's out of her mind. Mad as a hatter,
So pass me the butter.
life is a tea party all of the time.
I'm mad as a hatter, I've never felt better. It's hard to believe that I'm out of my mind. Mad as a hatter, so pass me the butter. Life is a tea party all of the time.
Well, hey! I'll never go there again. That was the stupidest tea party I ever was in all my life.
Just as she said this, Alice noticed one of the trees had a door leading right into it. Curious indeed, but she went in. She found herself at last in the beautiful garden, among the bright flower beds and cool furniture. A large rose tree stood near the entrance of the garden. The roses were growing on it were white. But there were two gardeners there, busy painting them red.
Look out, Five. Don't go splashing paint over me like that.
I couldn't help it, you jogged my elbow.
That's right, always lay the blame on others.
You can't talk. I heard the Queen say only yesterday you deserve to be beheaded.
What for?
Giving the cook tulip roots instead of onions.
Of all unjust things.
Please, would you tell me why you're painting those flowers?
Why, yes. You see, miss, here we were meant to plant a red rose tree, but instead we planted a white one by accident. So, you see, miss, we're trying to do our best before the Queen comes
The Queen!
Here comes the royal procession. They make their entrance two by two. They'll all be out to make an impression. Be careful what you say and do. This family has a great tradition. We're proven winners through and through. Our bodies are in tip-top condition. Our team will wipe the floor with you.
I'm late, I'm getting in a terrible state. I'll have to hurry, but I better move on.
Presenting the Queen and Princess of Hare.
Who is this? Idiot!
What's your name, child?
I'm Alice, Your Majesty.
And who are these?
I don't know. Nothing to do with me.
Off with her head! Off with...
Nonsense!
Consider, she is only a child.
Turn around. What are you doing? Get off that. You make me giddy. What have you been doing here?
Why, you see, miss, we were just trying to...
Oh, I see. Off with their heads.
You shan't be beheaded.
Are their heads off?
Their heads are gone, if you please, Nancy.
Can you play croquet?
Yes.
Come on then. It's a very fine day, isn't it?
Yes, very. Where's the Duchess?
She boxed the Queen's head. Oh, wait. She's under sentence of execution.
What for?
Because she boxed the Queen's head. Hush, hush, the Queen will hear you. She came rather late than the Queen said. Get to your places!
It's such a lovely day for playing croquet. Show me a better way to spend your time. Really, I have to say, life is okay. Out on the lawn today, it's just divine. I have been practicing with my flamingo. It's not an easy thing to keep in line. I am delighted with the way my fingers. It needs a polishing, but I'll be fine. Croquet is not so good when you're a headshot using a scoreboard. It's so unkind. If we don't go at all, they'll knock our heads off since we don't care at all. Or run and hide.
Stop! 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 I think it's time the band did some singing. You should know the tune by now. Are your lines ready? Good. Now, anyone who doesn't take part, your heads will be removed. Executioners, to your places.
It's such a lovely day for playing croquet. Show me a better way to spend your time. Really, I have to say, life is okay. Out on the lawn today, it's just divine. Whenever you're playing croquet and your neck is on the line, you should all be glad just to stay alive. Whenever you're playing croquet and your neck is on the line, we should all be glad just to stay alive.
Now, off with your head, off with your head, and off with your head.
They're dreadfully fond of beheading people here. It's a great wonder there's anyone left alive.
How are you getting on?
Not very well. They all cheat and quarrel so dreadfully.
How do you like the Queen?
Not at all. She's so very, extremely likely to win. There's no use playing against her.
Who are you talking to?
A friend of mine, the Cheshire cat.
I don't like the look of it at all. However, it may kiss my hand if it likes.
I'd rather not.
Don't be impertinent. And don't look at me like that.
A cat may look at a princess.
Well, I'd rather it didn't. I wish you to have this cat removed.
Okay.
I'll fetch the executioner myself.
Off with its head! Have you seen the mock turtle yet?
I've never. What's a mock turtle?
It's the thing mock turtle soup is made from.
I've never seen one or heard of one.
Oh. Well, come on then, and it shall tell you its history. Gryphon, come on, you lazy thing, and take this young lady to go see the mock turtle. I've got to go see some executions.
Alice didn't like the look of the creature, but she thought it'd be safer to go with it than to go after the Queen. They had not gone far until they came in sight of the Mock Turtle, who was sitting sad and alone on a little ledge.
What's her sorrow? It's all his fancy that. He hasn't got no sorrow now. Come on, this here young lady, she wants to know your history, she do.
I'll tell it to her. Sit down, both of you. Once I was a real turtle. When we were little, we went to school in the sea. The old master was a turtle. We called him Tortoise.
Why did you call him Tortoise if he wasn't one?
We called him Tortoise because he taught us why you really are dull.
You should be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question.
Anyways, we went to school in the sea. We had the best of educations. In fact, we went to school every day.
I've been to a day school too.
With extras.
Yes, we learned French and music.
And washing.
Certainly not.
Well, then yours wasn't really a good school, was it? At mine, we did French, music, and washing extra. I only took the regular course.
What was that?
Oh, you know, reeling and writhing, and then different branches of arithmetic such as ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision.
And how many hours a week did you do lessons?
10 the first, 9 the next, and so on.
What a curious plan.
That's the reason they're called lessons, because they lesson from day to day. Anyway, that's enough about lessons. Tell us something about the games now.
Were you ever introduced to a lobster?
I once tasted... Oh, no, never.
Then you'll have no idea what a delightful thing a lobster quadrille is. If you listen, then I'll explain. You'll see it's a delightful game. Clear the jellyfish out of the way, and then we can begin. Find a lobster and take his hand. Dance together along the sand. Change your partner and then around and do it all again. Seals and turtles and everyone, we're all having the best of fun. Join the party, we've just begun. Come on and do the lobster dance. Hurl your partner with all your might, out to sea where he's out of sight. Don't you worry, he'll be alright. He loves to play the game. Turn a somersault in the sea. You'll find it comes naturally. Take your partner back and we can do it all again. Seals and turtles and everyone, we're all having the best of fun. Join the party, you've just begun. Come on and do the lobster dance. Come on and do the lobster dance. Come on and do the lobster dance.
Thank you. It's a very interesting dance to watch.
Now present your poem.
Would you like me to?
Yes.
Okay. Could you go a little faster, said the whiting to the snail. There's a porpoise behind me, and it's treading on my tail. Look how the snails and turtles advance. They're waiting at the shingle. Will you come join the dance? Will you, won't you come join the dance? Will you, won't you come join the dance?
Thank you. If I'd been to the whiting, I would have said to the porpoise, "Keep back, please. We don't want you with us."
They're obliged to. No wise fish would go anywhere without a porpoise.
Wouldn't it really?
No. If a fish said that they were going on a journey, I should say, with what porpoise?
Don't you mean purpose?
I mean what I say.
Would you like another figure of the lobster quadrille? Or would you like the mock turtle to sing you a song?
Oh, a song, please, if the mock turtle could be so kind.
No accounting for tastes. Sing a beautiful soup, will you, old fellow?
soup, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, so green and so pleasing. My beautiful soup. Beautiful soup, beautiful soup. Beautiful, beautiful. My beautiful, beautiful soup. My beautiful soup. First soup for breakfast, so last thing at night. This is my favorite food. It can be served any way that you like. I'll always be in the mood. Beautiful soup, beautiful soup. Soup of the evening, so green and so pleasing. My beautiful, beautiful soup. Beautiful soup, beautiful soup. Beautiful, beautiful. My beautiful, beautiful. My beautiful soup. Who cares for curry or savory rice? If people curry or stew. If I were offered whatever I like, can you not guess what I choose?
Give us a clue.
Begins with an S.
Sandpaper. Celery. Seawater.
No,
Salt. Flag.
almost.
Sadness.
Beautiful soup, soup of the evening, so green and so pleasing. My beautiful, beautiful soup. Beautiful soup, beautiful soup. Beautiful, beautiful. My beautiful, beautiful. My beautiful soup.
The trial begins.
Come on.
Where are we going?
Come on.
Where are we going?
Alice had never been to a court of law before, but she had read about them in books, and she was happy to realize that she knew the name of nearly everything there.
That's the judge, because of her great wig, and those 12 creatures. I suppose they're the jurors. What are they doing?
They're writing down their names for fear they should forget them before the end of the trial.
Silly things. I'd wish they'd finished, get the trial over with, and then hand round refreshments.
Silence in the court. Harold, read the accusation.
The Queen of Hearts made some tarts, all on a summer's day. The Knave of Hearts stole those tarts and took them quite away. Not yet. There's a great deal to come before that.
First witness.
The first witness.
Take off your hat, it's not my miss. Take off your hat, I'm afraid it isn't mine. Whose hat is that? Stolen, stolen. Whose hat is that? He has stolen someone's hat. Put her in a prison and lock her up, lock her up. Put her in a prison and throw away the key. Put her in a prison and lock her up, lock her up. Put her in a prison and throw away the key.
I think I'd rather finish my tea.
You may go. Just take our head off outside. Next witness.
The next witness.
Give your evidence.
Shan't.
Break the tart.
He did, he did.
Who made the tart?
Was the cook who made the tarts.
What's in the tart?
Pepper, pepper.
the next witness.
Alice.
Here.
What do you know about this business?
Nothing.
Nothing whatsoever?
Nothing whatsoever.
That's very important.
Unimportant, Your Majesty means.
Unimportant, of course. Important, unimportant, important.
Oh, do shut up and get on with it.
Yes, of course. Consider your verdict. Let the jury consider their verdict. No. Sentence first and then the verdict afterwards.
Stuff and nonsense. Why the very idea of sentence first?
Hold your tongue. Hold your tongue.
I won't.
Off with the head. 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 Off with her. Off with the head. Off with the head. Off with the head. Off with her. Off with her head.
Who cares for you? You're nothing but a pack of cards.
With this, the whole pack rose up and flew at her. Alice gave a scream, half of fright and half of terror. She tried to fight them off. Alice woke up on the bank in her sister's lap, who was just brushing the leaves off of her face.
Wake up, Alice dear. Why, what a long sleep you've had.
I had the most curious dream. There's ladies with big babies. They live in weird places. How can I describe the things I've seen? Mad juries, the queen's jury, mock turtle and sad stories. How can I believe it's just a dream?
Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland. Alice, Alice, please understand. These are the things that happen in Wonderland.
One of my friends, who is an actor as well, wrote it with her little sister. It was The Mouse's Tale, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they wrote it together because I like to spend my break times in the music room. And basically, in break times, I'll go to the music room and they'll be working on the tune and things like that. And it's come out really good. And now, sometimes when I'm just at home or like to myself, I'll be like, Fury said to the mouse that they met in the house.
The band and the lights are like the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
They should get more credit.
Miss Kringle, when she comes to this, she's very serious because she wants everything to go really well. Like,
She doesn't treat us like kids.
yeah,
It's like,
she treats us like we're professional actors on Broadway and we need to get this right. Like,
Maybe
we
not
have
quite
line
Broadway.
deadlines, we have song learning deadlines. We also need to be like on point. Like sometimes if we're not doing something right, she'll have to be like, you guys, I can't control every step on your body because you need to do this right, you need to do that right. And she means really well by doing this because once we hear this, we're like, okay, we're gonna get this down so then we're not getting shouted at and then we're just gonna do this right and we're gonna have a really nice play.